it's Khristina from Redefine Creative, and I am super excited to be part of the Spiegel Mom Scraps technique hop today. So we're just kind of showing you a fun technique with sequins, and this is one of my absolute favorites. So I picked up, this is going to seem kind of silly, but these are bulletin board borders, like for teachers, and they're double-sided, and they come in a pack of 14 at Target, like in the dollar spot. So these were only $1. But since rainbows are like all the rage right now, I thought these would be really, really fun to use on scrapbook pages and cards and all kinds of different things. So I'm going to be playing around with that today. And I'm going to show you this technique on a card. And then I'm going to come back on Sunday and show you the same kind of technique and how it would come together on a layout. So I'm going to show you the technique today. And then on Sunday, I'm going to see you back here, and we'll talk about how all of this could also be used on a layout. So I have my dollar bin borders. I have a card, and I've been obsessed kind of with using these square cards lately. And I have already cut my pattern paper and then the white square that are going to go inside, just because I wanted to be able to focus today on showing you the technique with the sequins instead. So I'm just going to put together my card. And the most important thing to me about making cards is I want them, for the most part, I like it when they come together quickly, they use up my scraps, they look adorable, of course, but they don't take like hours and hours and hours to make. And I have made cards like that, and I love them, and they're gorgeous. But for the majority of the time, a card that comes together quickly is going to work well for me. And so that's where these borders come in. So I thought for today I would play with this like pinkish one. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out that particular rainbow. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a white space around the outside. But I'm basically just going to trim this little rainbow. And I like that it has the polka dots on the back, and I like that it's backed on white, because then I can pop this up on top of my card. And so now I have grabbed a whole bunch of different mixes of sequins that kind of match all of these different rainbows so that I can play around with whichever rainbow I choose. So I'm going to be using different ones when I get to my layout. And I'll give you a little hint when I get to my layout. I'm also going to flip this over and have a really cool scallopy edge. So that's another way you could use a product like this. So I have my stitching materials already. So I have a stitching mat that I'm going to use. This is really old from Basil, but if you don't have something like this, you can totally use Fun Foam instead. And then I have my Tim Holtz like craft pick, which I use to punch my holes. And anytime you're doing any kind of stitching, you are definitely going to want to punch your holes ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here for you. I have my shape, and I'm going to highlight certain parts of this element with sequins. And that is one of my favorite techniques for sequins. So using small little chunks of sequins to kind of break this up and make it look more interesting. And I'm going to stitch them on. And so I'm going to work in groups of 3. So that I have 3 purple, 3 turquoise, and 3 pink, which is why I've pulled all these different mixes of sequins. And I want to kind of stagger them throughout where my rainbow is. So all I'm going to do is decide where I want my sequins to go, and I'm going to punch some holes. And I just want them to be in groups of 3. So I'm going to put 3 little holes down here in the purple. And then I'm going to go maybe over here and put 3 little holes in my turquoise section. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Let's go up here. And maybe because this one's the biggest, we'll do 5. So see how I'm just kind of staggering where I want my sequins to go. So now I am going to grab my threaded needle, and I'm starting with the turquoise. And I'm going to grab my 3 little turquoise sequins. So I need 3 of these, and these are from Minty Meadow. And let me just show you how I quickly do this. So I am going to go up through my first hole, and then I'm going to put my sequin on. Maybe if my sequin wants to cooperate. And I'm just going to pull that through. And you can glue your sequins down ahead of time if you want to. And of course my knot didn't stay. You can glue your sequins down to your paper ahead of time if you want to, but you certainly don't have to. It is completely up to you. Sometimes it's a little easier to get them threaded on there if you have them glued to the paper, but you don't have to. And now I always like to go backwards and put a little tiny stitch to the back of that first sequin. And the reason I do that, sorry I was a little off screen there guys, the reason I do that is because it's going to keep it from flipping up, so it's going to hold it in place. Then I'm going to go to my next hole here in the back and pull my thread through and add my little sequin, which does not want to cooperate with me today. This is what happens when I try and do a live real-time video. I'm a hot mess, just like in real life. All right, so then I have that one, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my needle back through my very first hole. And now I've stitched those two sequins in a line together. So now I'm gonna go up through my third hole, and I'm gonna grab my little sequin that went flying and put him on. And then I'm going to go ahead and again go back through the hole before. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that very last little stitch right at the edge of my last sequin. Because if I don't add that piece, this little sequin is going to flip up and down on me. When I add that one little extra stitch, let me go back through the hole here, that's going to keep that last sequin in place. So I'm going to go ahead here off screen and add my other two little rows of sequins, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now that I have all of my sequins stitched, I just want to mention to you, I chose to use coordinating thread colors. So pink and turquoise and purple. If you wanted your stitching to stand out more than what it is, you could use either white or black would be really good choices because they're going to pop a lot more off the color. I wanted mine to be a lot more subtle, so it adds that texture. You can definitely see it, but it's a more subtle look than if I used black or white. And I like that. And I like creating these little clusters of stitch sequins instead of doing... Okay, so now to finish up this card, I'm just going to do a couple of really simple things. So I have this stamp set from Catherine Pooler called Fearless Pursuit. And it has this little sun stamp. And I thought this would be really fun to kind of have peeking out behind my rainbow. So let me grab that and some yellow lemongrass ink. And I'm going to decide kind of where I want my rainbow to go. And then I'm just going to take a little piece of scrap paper here and kind of mask off where the rainbow is going to be. So I'm going to cut a little mask just for that edge. And I want my rainbow to be here. So I'm going to mask that right about there. We're going to ink up our stamp. And I'm going to stamp right over that masked area, so that when I take it away, I just have a few little sun rays up there. And my rainbow will fit perfectly over the top of it. And I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of this guy so that it stands up a little bit off the page. It is a tiny bit dimensional. It's going to make it even more fun. So I'm just going to glue to this side for right now because I still want to put my phrase on here. And because of how this is all shaped, I kind of want to go with just a single line sentiment. So I had thought about using this one that says, "Here comes the sun," because it is so cute. But I feel like it needs a single line. So I'm going to grab this Bon Voyage stamp set instead. And it has just this one liner that says, "Sending love." So I'm going to grab that one. And I think I will stick with this yellow ink because it just looks bright and fun. I'm going to get it all over my arm. All right. So we're going to stamp up that stamp. And we're going to throw it right underneath where that rainbow would be. And then we're just going to go ahead and attach that rainbow back on there. And then if you wanted to, you could definitely scatter a few little extra sequins. I'm going to leave that off for now. But there is that super cute, quick and easy card. Now I definitely think, let me take this panel off just for 1 second. If I take this ink pad and add just a little bit of color around that outside edge, it is really just going to finish this off beautifully. There we go. Now we'll put that right back in the middle. And that is a super adorable, easy peasy card with some stitch detail sequins. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing how this card and this technique came together. And I will be back on Sunday showing you a layout using those same like rainbow borders with some of this stitched detailing. So I can't wait to see you then. Bye guys.